Hey everybody, I'm sitting here in Greenville, Alabama, and I just had a quick lesson I learned that I wanted to share with you guys. Simple lesson, but I think it applies, and certainly applies in my life, and I think some of you can get some help from it too. So particularly in regards to getting this ministry up and going, I've felt like I know I've been called to preach since the day I got saved. And it's kind of been a struggle for me to get what I would consider a ministry up and going. And an ongoing lesson in my life has been that God doesn't He doesn't have the same view of things that we do, right? And so things that He considers ministry and more important are not things that we would automatically consider ministry. You say ministry and my mind goes to platform with crowds and preaching. And over in the Bible you see where ministry to God and to Jesus was the one-on-one relationship in the odd situations that you wouldn't instinctively find yourself. And so especially with getting this launching our social media platform, it's been going really well, and I've got no complaints, but something that I've always noticed with my videos is I don't get a whole lot of, well, number one, I don't get a whole lot of feedback, which is fine. I'm not, criticizing anybody. It's just if you have feedback, I'd like to hear it. But secondly, my videos don't go viral. I'm doing well if I get 80 views on a video, and, that might change in the future. But so the spirit man inside of me is like, okay, that's fine, because if we're impacting one person's life positively, then the ministry is a success. But the selfish man, the flesh man inside of me is like, yeah, but look at these other people getting hundreds and thousands and millions of views on their videos. Is what I'm saying not as important? What am I doing wrong? And it just hit me that, just the simplest lesson. And that is that what I've known up here really finally clicked today in my heart, I think, and that is that I am where I'm supposed to be right now. And even if my ministry never gets any bigger, I'm doing what I know God has called me to do. And so we as humans look at the size or the numbers, and we judge based on that. So this person over here might have 10 million followers, and this person over here might have, 2. Well, this one's failing and this one's succeeding. But it just clicked with me. The divine exchange rate is a lot different than a human exchange rate. God doesn't see things the way we do. And so when we see numbers, God sees percentages, right? So if God has gifted me and given me the ability and called me to only reach 2 people, and I reach those 2 people, and I give it 100% of what I've got, and I stand before God and He asks me, what did you do with that gift that I gave you? And I can show Him that I gave 100%, that I went all in, then my reward is no less than the person who was gifted and called to reach 10 million, as long as he or she gave 100% and reached all 10 million with everything God put in them. And it just really clicked with me. So I just wanted to say that, publicly, I'm sorry for my selfishness. I'm sorry that I've been dealing with that and thinking that way, that, well, it all came about really from one instance a couple days ago. And I've been preaching for years now, and I've been putting these videos up and trying to, everything humanly possible to get the word out and spread the word that God's placed in my heart. And I haven't broken 100 views on any video that I'm aware of, which is fine. I don't care anymore. But this other guy put a video up of a guy that has preached twice, and at the time that I looked at it, it had something like 400 views or 180, I don't know, it was something stupid. Again, the stupidest thing doesn't matter, because if he's doing what God has called him to do, And he's reaching the people that God has called him to reach, and praise God, he's giving 100%. And I know I'm giving 100%. So it doesn't matter. But the flesh really tends to overtake me in little things like that. And my encouragement to you today is, you know what? God has you where he has you for a reason. And there's either one of two, there's a couple of reasons why you're not making a bigger impact in your mind. Number one is you're making the biggest impact that God has called you to make. You're already giving 100%. You're doing what God has called you to do. You know, changing those diapers every day, that's what God has called you to do. And if you're doing it with all your might, you know what, you might be raising the next Billy Graham or President of the United States or something. But the number two reason that you might not be expanding your ministry is you're not in a place personally where you're ready to receive what God has prepared for you. And that's the challenge to myself is, okay, Lord, I've got this dream of this massive ministry numbers wise. I know I'm giving 100% now, but I've got a dream for so much more. So I don't want the reason that my ministry is not expanding, I don't want the reason to be me, and I'm not prepared, and I'm not giving myself to God the way that he's called me to, and I'm not preparing myself the way that he wants me to. See, he's got so much more in store for all of us, but he's not going to give it to us if we're not in a place where we can handle it. So God might have a bigger ministry numbers wise for me, but I might be so mature at this point that if he landed it in my lap right now, I'd be a tomfool with it. You know, I'd screw the whole thing up. It'd be like sticking a salad in an oven. I mean, it just wouldn't be good. But anyway, those are just a few thoughts. Maybe it blessed some of you. Maybe it helped a little bit jog your thinking maybe about some situations in your life where you're like, Lord, why aren't you moving in this way or that way? And it might be that you're exactly where you need to be. And you just need to give 100 where you are. Or you're not prepared to move on. And so you need to focus more on getting more in tune with Christ and preparing yourself for whatever he has for you in order to allow him to put you into that place where he wants you. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too rambling. I hope it blessed some of you. Again, it's not necessary, but feedback is appreciated. Love you guys. God bless.